Hey, what's going on, everyone? Welcome to Practically Tactical on Target, brought to you by the Firearms Radio Network. Practically Tactical is a show dedicated to sharing with you some of the best new products or services in the firearms industry. Don't forget to listen to the Practically Tactical show here on the Firearms Radio Network as well. New episodes drop every Sunday. For more information on Practically Tactical and on Target, please visit practicallytactical.com. So on this episode, I'm talking with Adam Roth from Aridus Industries. Thanks for coming on, man. Pleasure to have you on.
Yeah, absolutely. It's a fun experience. Definitely pretty cool opportunity.
Yeah,
chance to get on here, so that's pretty neat.
Well, I want to thank you for doing the video with us at SHOT Show. So for all those that are watching on YouTube or listening on podcasts that watch our YouTube videos, we actually did a SHOT Show video. Jeff did a SHOT Show video with you at SHOT Show. So I put that in the links in the YouTube, and obviously that'll be in the podcast show notes. You guys can check out if you want to get some more information on that. But we're sitting down with Adam, Aridus Industries, and the big thing here is we're going to be talking about the QDC, the Quick Detach Carrier for shotguns. The shotguns are still great firearms, as to whatever the internet says. They're still great. But can you tell us a little bit about kind of who you are and kind of the background of how this all came about?
Yeah, sure. So I grew up in southwestern Pennsylvania. Like most of my friends and peers, grew up hunting and fishing, and so I kind of, I was sort of one of the stereotypical grew up shooting my whole life kind of things, but didn't really do anything super special with it. But I was always pretty hands-on with stuff, making things, modifying things. A few years ago, I was in industry work. I was working in a coal mine, and I was on a midnight shift. So, I was thinking about pretty much just anything that I possibly could to keep myself awake and sort of alert. And I just started thinking about different gear loadouts for my different long guns. I had pretty recently put together a first line belt for my AR, figured I could do something kind of similar for my AK. And I started thinking about different options for my shotgun. And so this was a couple years ago, before the the Velcro and elastic things really took off. They were kind of around. I had only seen them for the first time 2 months prior to coming up with this. And in the mine, we had Velcro and elastic on all the cuffs of our shirts and pants and everything. And I saw obvious downfalls with it. So I'm thinking about different ideas for shotguns and carrying more ammo, and I'm thinking there's got to be a better way than that. And so I pretty much just immediately started brainstorming a mechanical solution, so I'm not standing there ripping a 7-inch piece of Velcro thing off of my shotgun, or the Velcro getting clogged or wearing out, or this or that. But so it seemed right away that a mechanical solution was the way to go for sure. And so that's basically what became the QDC.
Okay. Do you want to show us the QDC real quick so we can show everybody what we're talking about, and maybe just kind of go over and explain what it is?
Yeah. So this is it here. It's basically a 2-part system. So the receiver adapter mounts the receiver of the shotgun, real similar to how other side saddles and shell carriers mount to receivers of shotguns. This is an 870 model, so on the back side there's some bottomed out threaded holes, so you replace the action pins in the receiver with a couple screws, so that stays on there. And then the other assembly is a detachable carrier. It's got a tongue and groove on the front that slides into there, and then the rear attachment point is really inspired off of an AK-47 latch, and so it just snaps into place. As simple as that. So yeah, it's just insanely robust and durable. It's really fast to change out. In addition to it being detachable, since everything had to be designed from the ground up anyway, since there's nothing like this to really base off of, I was fortunate enough to really be able to tackle a lot of the issues that a lot of other carriers have. And so since I was going from the ground up anyways, one of the greatest things was actually dealing with the retention. And I don't know if you're able to see it on the video at all, but each shell slot has its own individual stainless steel retention spring. So rather than using a rubber tube or gasket or something like that, it's actually using steel springs. They just provide incredibly consistent, reliable retention. Basically, it doesn't matter what the temperature is, what the weather conditions are, or anything like that. It's been phenomenal.
Okay, so basically, if I had to kind of categorize or put in people's mind of what these things are, is basically it's kind of the best of both worlds. You have the Velcro aspect of being able to rip off and reapply, but then you also get the stability and the reliability of the actual shell caddy carriers, right? So you kind of basically were able to combine both into one. Is am I kind of hitting that right?
Yeah, exactly. The thing that's really neat is it's really easy to view it as a compromise of only sort of taking the bad and the good of each of them, but that's not the case. It's basically only taken the good aspects of everything. There's very, very few downsides to it. I mean, everything's obviously going to be a compromise one way or another, but there hasn't been really too many downfalls. And of course I would be saying that because I'm the guy that came up with it. But to be completely honest with you, I only started buying into it in the last 6 or 8 months, just because of all the top end guys and instructors that I've had testing it for me, and they've been telling me that. And so I mean, that's I'm not a real like cocky individual or anything. So I mean, that's probably kind of a downfall for this sort of thing. I should be able to like talk up my own stuff, but I'm only comfortable doing that at this point just because that's what everybody else has told me, everyone that's given me feedback. So
no, what I love about it, I mean, like when you kind of talk about getting the positives but on the negatives, I mean, Velcro is great for quick, taking it on, taking it off, being very quick. But the downsides are to where if eventually the Velcro does wear out over time, and of course you start incorporating in any foreign media into the Velcro, then you get problems along with sometimes the retention aspect. If whatever webbing or whatever's used on there, you can start to lose retention to where you have to replace it. Then you look at the caddies, which are great. They're stable. They're reliable. Can have retention issues, but then they're kind of a pain to reload. And with your system, and what we were demoing before was, you basically take it like an AK mag of sorts, rip it off, throw your new one on, and you're good to go. So you can basically run, will those fit in like an AR mag pouch? Is that what they look to fit in?
Yeah, they'll fit in most single and double AR mag pouches. Not every single one, but for the most part, most of them. A lot of people have had really good success with like the taco pouches or the Blue Force Gear 10-speed pouches. Those kind of seem to be the favorites of some of the customers and the testers. So yeah, I mean, there's been very few that we've found so far that they don't fit into.
Okay. And then what models do you have it available for shotguns?
We've got 3 different models right now. We've got hard mount models for Remingtons and Mossbergs. So the Remington version will fit 870s, 1100s, and 1187s. Mossberg model will fit 500s and 590s. And those are both hardware mounted. So those will replace certain hardware points and then hard mount to that. And then for basically everything else, we've got a universal model that uses a ridiculously high-grade double-sided tape. And I should have grabbed one to bring over, but it's got a large cutout window to basically avoid all of the assembly pins, so you can still disassemble your firearm for cleaning or maintenance or anything else. And one of the things that I didn't love about Velcro was just the fact that it is using an adhesive to stick onto the side of the gun. So I really kept that in mind whenever we were trying to find a suitable double-sided tape. And a friend of mine knows adhesives, better than just about anybody else I know. And so he kind of helped me, find this specific one. It's got an incredible temperature rating, both highs and lows. And I've got videos on YouTube of literally just beating a QDC with a hammer, and parts were falling off the shotgun, and the tape didn't budge at all. So yeah, we've got that. That's been great on like Benelli M4s, Beretta 1301s, basically anything else. So
okay. And then what is this all made out of? Can you go over that?
Yeah, sure. So The receiver adapter is machined from a block of 6061 aluminum. The latches are water jet cut from steel and then folded in. It's got a steel pin and a stainless steel spring giving you the action. The carrier bodies are an injection molded nylon, and the back plates are machined aluminum. And then, of course, it's got the stainless steel springs, and it's all held together with some steel fasteners. But the all the actual contact points are metal on metal, so it gives gives a lot of reliability that way.
Well, it seems to be pretty lightweight for what you're getting out of it, especially when you look at some of the other large caddy systems.
It's not bad. You know, to be honest, it is the heaviest of the you know, competitors, I guess I'd say. But compared to like some of the other 6-round aluminum carriers, I think this is like, I'm trying to remember. I think that ours weighs like 2 ounces more than, you know, other 6-round aluminum ones. So it is heavier, but for 2 ounces, you're getting a lot of utility, and you know, it's proven to be a bit more reliable as well. So it's a little bit heavier, but you know, especially because of the placement of it, you know, it's placed between, you know, each of your hands right in the center of the gun. It's not very noticeable.
Okay, so it keeps the big thing is it keeps the balance of it as well.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, most of the testers, you know, especially as I was tweaking designs and everything, you know, they mentioned it felt really heavy whenever they would, you know, have it in hand or whatever. But as soon as they put it on their gun, they couldn't notice any difference between that and any other shell carrier. So,
and something I want to point out too is it doesn't cover up your serial number, which I think is a very smart design.
Yeah, it was funny. You know, just talking with several guys in law enforcement, they were explaining to me like how certain models, they would have to undo like 6 screws on the shell carriers just to be able to access the serial number, and you know, for all their inventory purposes. But yeah, so the Remington model has a serial number cut out there. The Mossberg model has an area there where it's able to be visible. The Universal model, most models of guns, that big open window on it will be able to you know, reveal the serial number. So you know, for military and law enforcement, for like inventory purposes, or for guys that have short barrel shotguns, they have to have their serial number showing, or anybody that just likes to, you know, keep track of it or whatever. So try to keep everything in mind.
Okay. And then you have install videos up on your YouTube channel and website, which, by the way, are links in the YouTube video and the show notes. But you have install videos on both models, right?
Yeah, correct. I've got videos up on the Mossberg and the Remington models, and then just recently I started shipping the Universal models, so haven't gotten an install video up on that, but I definitely plan to pretty soon here. But
okay, and then I want to mention Jeff of our own Practically Tactical has had one for a while, hasn't he?
Yeah, I got one to him probably about a week before SHOT Show to start testing out. You know, I've been friends with Jeff for a little while, and you know, I definitely respect his ability to run a shotgun for sure. So he was definitely one of the guys on my radar to, you know, get testing it out and kind of get his thoughts on it too.
Yeah. Unfortunately, Jeff, I think, is doing kung fu right now or something, so he wasn't able to make it. But real quick, because we have everybody out in chat right now asking, what does your shirt say? That's what everybody wants to know. Like, no, this is awesome thing, but hold on real quick. What does your shirt say?
Let's see. I would push you in front of zombies to save my rabbit.
Where does that come from?
I don't know, my wife's given me kind of a no, Caitlin. Everybody loves it. No, we've got a pet rabbit. You know, we've had rabbits for a couple of years now, and you know, we hold them very dear to our hearts. So. I don't know where she got the shirt as far as that specific question goes. So. The internet has many great things.
Yes, this does. And hopefully everybody out in chat there So let's go ahead and then so let's talk about pricing on this. We have the 870 quick detach carrier comes in at 165, and what does that all come with?
Yeah, sure. So the the QDC consists of a receiver adapter, a carrier, and all the required mounting hardware. So that's basically what's what goes into each quick detach carrier.
Okay, and then the universal model comes in a little bit less for 155.
Right.
And then the Mossberg 500, 590 are the same price as 870 at 165, right?
Yep.
And then you can buy additional carriers for $43, or you actually have a 10-pack on your site to save some money for $375.
Yep.
You get all that there?
That's it.
Okay, and then Adam was cool enough to share with our audience a discount code. So if you guys are interested in this product and you want to buy it, use code PRACTAC10, so PRACTAC10, and you'll get 10% off your order at Aridus Industries, which is ARIDUS Industries.com. Then on their website, they have features and videos, frequently asked questions, all that good stuff on there. But yeah, I'm definitely interested in getting Jeff's thoughts on it. Hopefully, be able to get one. I have an upcoming shotgun class. But when we go to wrap it up here, what else could you discuss or tell people about this if they might have any questions on?
Yeah, I mean, one of the biggest things that I get is a lot of people saying, oh, I'm just using my shotgun for home defense. I don't need something to be detachable like that or whatever. And, I definitely get where they're coming from for sure. My very first shotgun class that I took, I didn't have a detachable carrier. And so really just the training and practice aspect of it is just huge, just because kind of like you mentioned, actually reloading, a regular shell carrier is a total pain. So, I mean, I'd go up to the line in a class and we're shooting 30 rounds. Well, I'm getting 6 repetitions of reloading, and then I'm shooting another 24 rounds, pulling shells from my pockets and whatever. So, I mean, it's, even if you're not like throwing on, some kind of kit or something for your home defense shotgun, it's a fantastic training aid as well for getting the consistency and the repetitions for sure.
Well, something that really stuck out to me of this versus like your traditional type of carrier, and again, I have very limited experience on these, is with your stainless steel retention spring that's in it. With standard carriers that I've messed with, is you really got to get that in perfect. With yours, with the retention, it gives you kind of a little bit of play to kind of get it in and get it home and then transition to loading more. Well, in your case, you really don't have to do that at all. But if you actually had to keep a carrier on and just manually reload it, it looks like it gives you a little more play with actually getting the shell in.
Yeah, I mean, one thing that's pretty neat is you can run the shell. I wish I had some shells or dummy rounds with me, but you could run the shells, so they're brass down. You can run them so they're all the way, flush, so there's not a whole lot even exposed, and they still hold on tight. Some other shell carriers, you basically have to like drive them all the way up into to have the retention you need. But the springs of they've exceeded my expectations for sure.
And you can run them brass up, brass down, however you want it. You can customize it.
Yeah, that's one of the greatest things. There's some serious advantages speed-wise to running your shells brass down. A lot of people stay away from that just because the carriers are not capable of retaining the shells. They'll fall out under recoil. Knock on wood, but in literally tens of thousands of rounds of full power buckshot running shells brass down, there's never been a single one to drop. Not saying it will never happen or couldn't happen, just saying it hasn't happened yet. And so, I mean, it's been pretty encouraging that if people want to, it actually gives them the capability to do so.
Okay. And then currently where it's only compatible with 12 gauge right now, correct?
Right. Yeah. I mean, that's been the vast majority of the demand for sure has been 12 gauge. I've gotten a number of requests for 20. So, I mean, injection molds are expensive. So I'll have to see, if the demand says, the market wants 20 gauge, then 20 gauge will happen. So we'll see. I'll never rule anything out for sure.
Okay. And then of course it fits all of the buckshot, slug, 2 3/4, 3-inch, 3.5. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah, exactly. We spaced the holes. There was actually quite a bit that went into the exact sizing of the holes, so there's not a ton of extra space that would kind of allow shells to get wobbly. But at the same time, shotgun shells are not super precise or consistent. There's definitely variances in the diameter, but haven't run into really any issues with fitting in or any kind of compatibility or anything like that.
No, that brings up a great point of, we think of like 5.56, there's all these specs, and it needs to be at this angle, and shotgun shells, it's pretty much a, here's a guideline, be somewhere close. And we're talking within the same box of shells, you can have just so many different types of things. And especially something which you mentioned, which was great, is weather. We're talking plastics that can expand, contract. That takes into a big play as well. So no, this looks like an amazing, thought out product. That's why we wanted you on the show. That's why we did a SHOT Show video. And again, as we talked about in our SHOT Show recap video, it's like this product and you being there is what SHOT Show was all about. And that's why we love to find just gun people that like to train and have an idea and a solution to bring to the market. That is an awesome kick-ass product. So kudos to you, sir.
I appreciate it. Thank you.
Yes. And your shirt's a big hit out in chat.
I'm sure there's one individual that loves it. So,
well, again, man, so we have aridusindustries.com, ARIDUS industries.com. Everything's in stock because you just started shipping these, right?
Yeah, I was fortunate enough. I took pre-orders for a couple months, mostly to fund the injection mold. Got everything made, got a production run of the molded carriers. I've been working nonstop on machining the aluminum parts. We've got everything in stock. So,
okay, awesome. Well, again, man, thank you, Adam Roth from Aridus Industries, for joining us today. Really appreciate it. And again, hopefully the next time we got filming, we haven't been filming since SHOT Show, but we'll definitely get out and get some video on it and show you guys because Jeff has it on one of his mini shotguns he has. But no, thanks again for coming on, man. I really appreciate it.
Absolutely, man. Thanks a lot for having me. I appreciate it.
Absolutely. So for our listeners out there, if you know of another awesome company like Aridus Industries that you want featured on Practically Tactical on Target, email me at nick@practicallytactical.com with your suggestion. And of course, guys, be sure to check out all the shows here on the Firearms Radio Network by visiting firearmsradio.tv or firearmsradio.tv/iTunes. Check out all the shows just by searching Firearms Radio Network on iTunes. But Adam, thank you for coming on. You guys go check that out. And again, if you're interested in buying one, use code PRACTAC10 and save 10% on your order. So until next time, thanks for listening.